Hi, Lance.
Hi, Carol. Good to be with you today.
Yeah, it's great to have you. For all the folks watching this, I'm Carol Grave. I'm the CEO and founder of Food Integrity Now, and I've been offering people health solutions through interviewing great guests and writing articles for almost 13 years now. So I'm really excited to have on Lance Leonard again to share with us some great information about a product that I think you're going to find very interesting. First of all, Lance and his lovely wife, Lindia, co-founded New Phoenix Rising, a company dedicated to addressing the root causes and providing solutions to major health issues. So this is right up my alley. But what New Phoenix Rising does that is so different, because I'm sure you're familiar with a lot of different companies out there that sell products for your health. But New Phoenix Rising's development of the science of quantum infusion really makes them way more advanced in what they put in their products. And I'm not going to go into what that is. I'll have Lance explain that for us. And I'm excited that you're here today, Lance.
It's great to be with you again. It's been a while, and
Yeah.
it's always a pleasure. And what it's just such an important, I think, topic that we're about to talk about because it's universal. Everybody has a digestive system, and everybody's digestive system is pretty much, I guess you could say, under attack these days with the incredible amounts of toxins and things that you know really compromise that integrity of the gut, and the gut is so important. It has so much to do with so many other things that we're really just beginning to understand right now, I think.
I know, and it's so interesting because the research and information coming out on the microbiome, for the past, what, 10 years or so, I mean, it's changing so quickly. But the most important thing that we have learned is that you need to have a healthy microbiome to have a healthy brain and to have a healthy body, because depending on different research, it's estimated that 70 to 80% of your immune system is in your microbiome. So it's so important. And with my clients, that's where I start. You've got to have a healthy gut to create wellness. So on that note, I wanted Lance, for you to share with us a new product that New Phoenix Rising has just developed called Harmonic Biome. And I'd like you to tell us about it and why it's so different.
Well, as you said, the gut is critically important. And as we're starting to realize the connection between the gut and the brain, it's becoming even more obvious that this is a real key to health in general. And it's so great to hear you say that that's where you start with your clients, because, you can be taking some great stuff, but if it's not actually getting into your body, or if your gut is super out of balance, even your thoughts are going to be affected by it. And that's the part that I think most people aren't quite tuned into, is your thinking actually becomes affected by your gut. And if you start thinking things like, oh, I don't really need these this way of eating, I can just go back to eating junk or something like that, those thoughts are there not to support you. And you might think they're your own thoughts, but actually in some ways they're the result of the imbalance in the gut and the brain. And I know that sounds kind of wild, but that's kind of the direction that the research is going, is the deep connection between the gut and the brain. And I think it speaks to this idea that the old model, I'm sure you are super familiar with this idea, Carol, but the old model of health is, we're this body and we have to fight off the bad guys and hopefully keep ourselves healthy that way. And the new model is this is a large system. This is an intelligent system that we're living as a part of. And our ability to be healthy depends on our harmonious relationship with the whole system. And of course, the gut is our direct connect to the rest of nature, you might say. I mean, certainly we connect with nature in many ways. We're a part of nature. But when we eat something, as in food, that is the most intimate connection that we have. I mean, we're taking something outside and we're running it through our digestive tract and hopefully extracting the nutrients that our body needs so that we can be healthy and stay healthy. So this is a real big difference in thinking about health. And when we begin to realize really this idea, this concept of harmony and relationship really runs throughout nature, then we start to think differently about ideas like, okay, I'm sick, I need to go kill off something. Well, in fact, it might be helpful at times to kill off something, but the underlying issue is the balance. So if we focus strictly on, killing off the bad guys, so to speak, then we lose that ability sometimes to create the balance that actually keeps us healthy. We can see this in when people are treated for serious illnesses like cancer, and they use something that kills the cancer, which, at times may be necessary. But at the same time, if they don't restore a balance in their body's systems, then typically it will come back. So this is what we're looking at here with this product is how do we make the gut in balance? How do we keep it in balance? Now this product that we're talking about, the formulation actually came from a spiritual teacher that we work with, whose name is Jonah, and he gave it. It's actually in a book that you can read. And it's it's something we've used ourselves for some time before we decided to bring it out as a product. And what we did is we said, okay, this is a great simple formulation. We really like it. What happens if we quantum infuse it and make it even more powerful and even more healing? So, which brings us to the whole topic of what is quantum infusion, which I'll speak to about what it is and also specifically what it is in this product. The formulation itself is very simple. As I said, it's just 3 ingredients: mint, slippery elm, and garlic. And all of these ingredients are organic. They're not sourced from China. I like to tell people that because, as you start to research, as you know, Carol, I'm sure, things that come from China, basically, they're not things that I would want to put in my body for the
They're
most
not
part.
regulated,
Yes,
and you just never quite know what you're getting.
exactly. It's like, I guess you could say the Wild West over there. That would be
Yeah.
a polite way of putting it. I mean, I suppose if you had a personal friend who was over there growing things and you knew exactly what they were doing, it might be a little bit better. But, who has that? And the other thing is that even in some places that things are grown organically, if you look at the area that they're grown in, they're so polluted sometimes that the organic certification kind of almost becomes meaningless. So we just say, we're not going there. We're not getting stuff from China. Now, of course, we all get stuff from China. I'm talking to you on a computer that was assembled in China right now, but it's different using a computer than putting something in your body, I think. So so the ingredients are all sourced from really high quality sources, and whenever we can, we try to get to know the suppliers. Some of the people. Some of our products, we actually are friends with the farmers, more than one product, and those relationships are growing by the day. We have a new relationship now with some farmers that are really super high quality. But I'm digressing a little bit here. We think that it's not only important, that the quality is there, but that the quality of the relationship with the supplier is also really good in the sense of, we think the same about, what's important and what's valuable. Now, as far as the physical ingredients go in the product, we can talk a little bit about, excuse me, about that, what those ingredients are and why they're there. And I'm sure that if the, if the spiritual teacher was here, that I was speaking of, Jonah, he would probably have even more to say about it. But I'll just give you a little rundown on these and why they work together too. So one of them is mint, and mint has been used for a very long time to support digestion. It's been associated with relief from many kinds of conditions, ranging from irritable bowel syndrome, gallbladder situations. It's also promotes brain health. One of the things that people don't always know about mint is its ability to trigger memory. And you might think, well, why is that important for a gut product? The thing about the gut is it is really the center on kind of an emotional level. We look at the body systems as all being connected, including the emotions. And so, and it's well known that emotional states affect people's physical health. So there's a real definite connection there that even, it's not just an esoteric idea. Science understands this now. And so when we think about mint triggering memory, one of the things about the gut is it is related to nurturing. It is related to how we receive nurturing. There's so much about food that we could say. One of the sayings that I like is how you do your food is how you do your spirituality. So there's a lot in that simple statement. When you think about, how you nurture yourself, how you choose to allow yourself to be nurtured, all of these things are connected with the gut. So it's not just a physical thing we're dealing with here. And when we think about memories, sometimes people hold on to actual physical toxins in the body because of trauma. So when we are cleansing the body, which this product assists with doing, we are necessarily given the opportunity to release trauma and negative beliefs and things like that if we allow that to happen. So we encourage our customers to actually allow themselves to make the healing more than just on the physical level. The opportunity for that is there. And we support that with the quantum infusion, which I'll get to in a minute. So so this is the first thing. The mint is many, many things. It's connected with asthma, headaches, oral care, skin care, stress, depression. There are many things. And this is all information that can be looked up on the internet. It's an important ingredient. Let's move to another one. Slippery elm, the second ingredient. Slippery elm is a fantastic product with a long history of use in herbal medicine, as you may know. It is specifically deeply connected with the whole gastrointestinal tract. So it does many, many things in the body, and including, it's been associated with providing at least some relief and change in serious conditions like gout and Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, things like that. So the slippery elm actually helps to restore the linings, which are, as you know, Carol, better than most people, severely under attack from things like, we could just say one thing, glyphosate, one word, and say that alone is such a big deal because it's in so many things, and it's one of the most toxic substances known on the planet.
There was just a study recently done that was put out by Sustainable Pulse that they found in 80% of human urine, they found glyphosate. So that's how ubiquitous it is.
Wow. Now, was that just the US or was that worldwide?
I don't have the answer to that, but if they go to sustainablepulse.org, they will see the article. It was fairly recent, but
wow.
I'm not sure.
That's an amazing,
But it's
either
my guess
way.
it's the US. That is my guess, because
Right.
we eat the most junk food.
Right, right. And we may be, right up there on the charts for using the most glyphosate. It wouldn't surprise me. I know there are some countries that have attempted to keep it out. It's very difficult to do. It seems to creep into everything. Same thing with genetically modified foods. Very difficult to keep them away, especially because the intent of the people who promote them, excuse me, is to make them, worldwide available. Excuse me, getting a drink of
Sure.
water.
And just, I know we have an intelligent following here in audience, but if anybody needs more information about glyphosate or GMO dangers, again, go to foodintegritynow.org. In the search bar, type in glyphosate. You will find interviews on that, hundreds, not hundreds, but several articles about glyphosate and GMOs and how they wreak havoc with human health.
Yes, thank you for that resource. It's great to have a place where, you can go and read information about that without having to search the web. And it's sad to see, some of the people who are doing the most promotion of this kind of information having other people, basically try to shut them down just for speaking the truth. But I'm glad that your site isn't under attack, or at least as far as I know. So yes,
I'm good.
it's an amazing world we live in. So the third ingredient is garlic, and most people are familiar with garlic. Garlic has been used for, millennia as a primary medicinal substance. The Egyptians, Greeks, Chinese, Romans, Babylonians, they've used it for a very long time. Allicin is a compound that is found in garlic that many people know has many properties, from weight loss to athletic performance, helping circulation to increase. So because of that, it actually helps to kind of potentize the other ingredients, you might say. It helps things to move around a little bit better, helps nutrient absorption. It actually has been associated with IQ increases and brain function in general. So it's an amazing substance. And when these three are put together, there's a pretty much, I guess, holistic is the word that comes to mind, approach to healing the gut. And specifically, one of the things that these particular herbs do together is to help eliminate negative gut bacteria. So as you know, Carol, we need bacteria, viruses, fungi. All of these things are part of who we are, literally, as physical beings. They're part of our bodies. And they're in the entire biome of the earth, and certainly in our microbiome of our intestinal tract. They're important. And so, but we need them in balance. If we have our body naturally wants to be in balance, and we naturally eliminate the negative bacteria. But when the conditions change through stress, through toxins, through various means like we've been discussing, GMO
Non-steroidal, anti-inflammatory things like aspirin and those type of drugs too can really throw the gut off too. I just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing how many things there are today that take that balance away. I think, as you would probably agree, the single most important thing that anybody could do with their diet today is just to eat organic. That's going to eliminate so much of what we're talking about. And we tell people that all the time. Eat organic, and it's not going to necessarily be easy, because there's a lot of people say, "Oh, I buy my food at Whole Foods," and they think, "Okay, I'm good." But actually, Costco sells more organic food than Whole Foods does.
Yes,
So
it's important to eat organic. Number one on my priority list is if you can grow your own food organically,
absolutely.
then you know exactly where it's coming from. Number two, buy organic, but get to know the companies where you're ordering, because organic certification, you wonder sometimes how much it's regulated. And when I buy organic, I pretty much know the companies I'm buying from. I make that my business so that I know I'm getting a high integrity product. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of work, but it's worth it to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, if that sounds too overwhelming, a good first step is to just start reading labels. Not
Right.
everybody does that, you know. Not everybody realizes that even when something is organic, quote unquote, even when it's certified organic, that they're allowed to put in a small amount of non-organic ingredients.
Yep.
And oftentimes those very ingredients are like the worst ones you could add. They're highly likely to be genetically modified, for example. So, you know, people seem kind of stuck on certain words today, like, oh, it's gluten-free. Oh, it's, you know, I don't know what some of the,
Here's a good one, Lance, when it says non-GMO. And people, I've had clients do this, and you know, they'll text me a product. Look, I found this great product. It's non-GMO. Non-GMO does not mean that it doesn't have glyphosate. The only way you're not going to get glyphosate is by buying organic. And the best is organic, non-GMO, third-party certified, glyphosate residue free, all
right,
of those, which, you know, is not, that's kind of hard to find products that have all of
yeah,
those.
right.
But if I see a product that has all those certifications on there, you bet I'm going to buy that product, because that company, it lets me know they've taken the extra step to ensure that their product does not have harmful chemicals in it. So,
That's right. That's
yeah,
right. So we could create a whole hierarchy where the ultimate would be like getting it out of your garden.
yeah,
The next step would be knowing the person who personally who grew it,
right.
and then after that would be researching the company, and then finally reading the labels, and then beyond just buying organic. But you know, those steps are important. And I've personally found that once you begin to incorporate these habits, they're not a big deal. You know,
No,
people think, oh, that's too much trouble. It's really not that trouble. It's just a different habit. And once you're in the habit of, say, you know, I like to go to reading labels because I think it's a simple first step for people to take. And you start to realize also how much junk is in the food when you start doing that. When you
or
start
where you
getting,
can't, where you don't recognize an ingredient.
exactly,
That's, you know, with, you know, the word is a mile long, and you
right.
think, what is that?
And
So
we've
just
all got
simple
phones today.
ingredients.
Yes, we've all got these phones today with access to information. I mean, I've been in stores where I've just said, okay, I'm just going to look this up right now, and then end up getting a little mini education about what that ingredient is. And who knows, maybe it's not enough to make a decision, but maybe it is. Sometimes you can do things like that pretty quickly if you're motivated.
Yeah,
I know the difference it's made in my health. So,
yeah.
but back to this product, these ingredients together.
Let's talk about quantum
Quantum
infusion.
infusion, that's the
Yeah,
next
people
step,
are
yes.
wanting to know about this.
Quantum infusion is the result of many decades of research by world-renowned quantum physicists, a team. The head of the team is actually, unfortunately, no longer with us. He left about a year ago. He was getting up towards 90. And if you were to study quantum physics today at a university level, you would, in his area of quantum physics, you would probably read his book. So he literally wrote the book on his area of quantum physics and made discoveries that changed the whole field.
What's
So
his name?
his name is Yuri Kronn, Kronn, and he is an amazing human being. Besides being quite remarkable in his knowledge of physics, but also in his knowledge of traditional Chinese medicine and a few other things. The team of quantum physicists that we work with are knowledgeable in traditional Chinese medicine and in many other traditional disciplines that have helped the discoveries move along more quickly. So that's kind of the background of it. It's all based on plasma. Now, today, there are people who are starting to understand how important plasma is. Scientists who are in the realm of researching plasma say that the universe is made up of 99% plasma. So is it important? I think so. It's like what everything, but yet it's invisible and it's powerful. Everything in the universe has a plasma signature, you might say. So we use plasma, and you know, plasma research has been going on for quite a while now in the background. Most people have never heard about it, we'll be talking about it a lot more on our website as we go forward, because we realize that we're saying, okay, this is quantum infused, and people go, oh, that sounds interesting. What is that? And we give an explanation of it on our website, but we realize we could do a lot better. And so
and what is your website so our listeners can know that?
Our website is www.newphoenixrising.com. And I'm sure that you'll put a link in there to.
I'm actually, I'm going to screen share in a second, but finish your quantum infusion, then I'm going to screen share something.
Great. Good. So quantum infusion. So it's based in plasma. So what it's based on is the understanding that everything in the universe has a plasma operates in the subatomic realm. The subatomic realm is the bridge between what most people think of as spiritual and what we think of as physical. It is a very real place, but the rules are very different when you go to that level. What does subatomic mean? It simply means at a level of nanoscale. Nano means a billionth of a meter. It's a measurement. So when you get down to that scale, things act differently. All kinds of different things apply. For example, quantum entanglement. So you can take two particles that have been associated with each other, and you can separate them by 5,000 miles. And you can do something to one of those particles, and the other one instantly changes as a result of what you just did 5,000 miles away. You can isolate them with lead shielding. You can do whatever you want.
Yes, and for our viewers, look up quantum entanglement because it's a fascinating subject.
It is. And I'm using it as an example just to show people how wild this whole area of research is. It defies what we think is reality. In other words, you know, when you're operating on something that is supposedly impossible according to the rules of Newtonian physics, then you realize we've got a lot of learning to do here. And so these guys that we work with, they've been doing this for decades. And what they've discovered is that these realms influence each other every day, all the time. So this is a natural phenomenon. Every single thing in the universe has a quantum energy signature. You know, I'm putting these words on it. The scientists sometimes use different words. I try to change things in a way that they're understandable to most of the rest of us. I'm not a scientist, but I work with them. So you know, as I jokingly tell them, I know enough to be dangerous. But the point is that quantum infusion is a way of harnessing these understandings. Ancient Chinese people did this already. There are people today who can do it, who understand the use of qi, for example. They understand that their body is a quantum instrument that can be used when trained. Now, can most of us do what they do? No. Here's an example. There is a Chinese man who's a master of qi. He can actually do something that is supposedly impossible. And this has been done over and over again in scientific settings in China, where he influences the decay rate of a radioactive material. Now, why do we use carbon-14 dating? Because it's incredibly reliable about predicting the age of something to a certain extent. So because it doesn't change. And so we can know how old something was approximately. So with these decay rates, that's why they're so useful. He can actually change the decay rate to a statistically significant degree. In other words, something that didn't just randomly happen. And he could do it over and over again with his qi. What does this tell us? Well, it tells us a lot of things. One, that these rules that we have are not as hard and fast as we thought in Newtonian physics. And two, that this is a doorway to do all kinds of things. So what we're doing here is we're understanding how these various energy frequency signatures work in the body, because they're already in the body. Each substance that we take into our body, we don't just take the substance, we take the energy signature with it. So this is something that nature is already doing. What we're doing is we're getting a little more precise about those, and those energy frequency combinations they create very specific results. So essentially what we do is we take these herbs and we have a plasma generator that is controlled by computers that then essentially inserts frequencies into the herbs that are beneficial to the whole gastrointestinal tract. They're amazing in that way. In other words, if you took the frequency without the herbs, you would be getting a measurable result. Now, with the herbs, it's even better because you're not just getting the support on the meridian level. These frequencies work through the body's meridians. So because of that, they actually are supporting the body on the level of the energy body as well as the physical body. These two are already working together. But now with quantum infusion, what we're doing is we're giving each person who takes this product an energy treatment along with the physical biochemical reality of putting the herbs in the body. So we're just enhancing what nature's already doing through the conscious use of these, I'm calling them frequencies, but essentially because they're in the quantum realm, they're not really measurable frequencies. Like people will say, well, how many hertz is that frequency that you're talking about? Well, it's not in that realm. It's beyond the measurable realm. So you might think, well, then how is that scientific? How do you know what you're doing if you can't measure the frequency? The reason is the frequencies, and this is from years, literally decades of research, the frequencies are what I'm calling frequencies. They have specific effects that parallel what traditional Chinese medicine teaches. So we know that when we use this frequency, XYZ, this thing's going to happen in the body. We know this because every frequency we use is tested with humans through a network of healthcare professionals all over the United States and beyond. So we don't just say, oh, this sounds like a great frequency, let's throw this in here. It has to actually be compatible with the physical substance as well. And the combination, it gets even more complicated. So we actually spend a lot of money just figuring out what to put in each product. And, I look forward to the day when we can spend even more money on this because it's not free. Just the research part is not free. But when someone takes Harmonic Biome in their body, they're getting an energy treatment to the whole digestive tract as well as the physical. And these two work together beautifully. And that's how it always is in nature. Everything you do is like, you could say, an energy treatment as well. And of course, the primary energy treatment that we all can give ourselves is through our consciousness and through that. And that starts with our thoughts and our emotions. So when we have an intent of healing and we take a product like this, it's even more powerful. And that's the thing that sounds a little woo-woo, but it's really true.
I totally agree with you. And what I'm going to do now, because we're almost out of time, I'm going to share my screen here and show you something real quickly, if I can find it. We're going to go here first, and we're going to share. Okay, so this is your website.
Right, you're in the shopping cart.
Here are other products, and and I'm also going to share my website too in a second. But this is the Harmonic Biome. It's a 10-day sampler. This is a pre-launch item, correct?
That's right. That's correct.
And then there's a gut cleanse special on there too that it includes the 10-day sample along with another one of their quantum infused products, which
actually
is
two others,
two others. Oh yes, I'm sorry. They're Biolumina, which is the best spirulina in the world, and Fearless, and so people can look those products up. We don't have time to go into what those are, but you can also, to learn more about Biolumina, go to foodintegritynow.org, go to the blog, type in the word Biolumina or Lance Leonard, and you'll see my interview that I did with Lance, all about Biolumina. And there's also an interview with Linda Masterson on there about Biolumina, so people can get that type of information. And
What
then,
one thing if I may just dive in here really quick, is just to say that these products support the whole process when they're used together. And we won't go into that today, but the Fearless and the Biolumina used with the Harmonic Biome are an amazing combination. So that's why we offered it like that. It is discounted beyond the free product that you get. It's also the other products themselves are also discounted when you buy them that way.
okay, now I'm going to hopefully bring up my website here, and I don't know why it's not here. Okay, hold on one second. Lance, go ahead and talk for a second.
Okay, while you're looking at that, I
While
will.
I'm looking into that.
I was going to say I have your website up. I could both, but you probably want to do that.
Go ahead.
So the thing to I also want to stress here about this is, the way nature works, people are trained to think in terms of like drugs today. And I know your audience here is beyond that thinking, or at least is open to exploring something different. And I just want to say that these things, while we have seen some amazing things, I've taken this product before bed and just had the most amazing sleep, which is not necessarily what I was expecting from it. But the tendency here with natural products is that there's a time factor involved with the balancing. So I would encourage people to use these products for a period of time, and the 10-day sample is definitely enough to notice a difference if you use it as directed, which is twice a day. It's super easy to take. You can sprinkle it on food, or you can mix it in with a little spring water and just take it all by itself. It's not a bad tasting thing. You could kind of imagine from the ingredient list. And actually on some foods, it actually tastes fantastic, I think. But either way will work, either sprinkled on food or taken with water. If you're really wanting to tune into what it's doing, I highly recommend taking it in a little bit of water just by itself. You might feel it quicker, but in any case, it will make your gut better. And if you give it some time, it can really, over time, make a big difference. So it looks like we're getting closer here.
We're getting closer. There we are.
Woohoo!
Okay. I don't use the screen share that often. Okay, so this is my website, and this is my health store. So you'll see the URL up there. It's foodintegritynow.org/health store. And if you go onto the site, you'll see both of those products on there. And you'll also see, let me see what's on here real quickly. And there's Biolumina on there, and I need a new picture because your product looks a little different right now. And then speaking of quantum infused, the Intrinity Plus. So anyway, you can go to foodintegritynow.org, go to health store, and you can check all that out. So anyway, I really love the information you shared with us today, Lance, and not just about the ingredients, but to let our listeners know a little bit more about quantum infusion and how amazing that is. So I invite people to check it out, try it.
Good.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll throw in there is that every product that we create that comes from this spiritual teacher, which now there are two. Fearless also was a gift, I guess you might say, from Jonah. We always make a donation from every sale of those products to the nonprofit, the Universal Education Foundation, which works with young people and helping people who've been bullied and that sort of thing to have better self-esteem. Absolutely. So that's part of this too. And that's something that is part of our ethos as a company. We do that in many different ways. We feed people who don't have access to high quality food. We feed them with Biolumina. We also donate to UEF. Over the years, we've donated to many different organizations that do good work that we personally know. Like we had one here locally that we were doing for a while that They make high quality, excuse me, organic food for people who are dealing with serious illnesses. If the people can't afford it, they get the meals for free delivered to their home. If they can, then they're asked to pay for it. But either way, super high quality food.
That's
Unfortunately,
wonderful.
when the big virus happened, they did not make it through that. So they don't exist anymore, but we did do a lot with them for
Great.
a few years.
Well, I also wanted to give a plug to the Universal Education Foundation, which is the organization that you just mentioned, that part of the profits are donated to them. And if people want to check that out, it's universaleducationfoundation.org. Very, very great organization. They're doing wonderful work with children and adults too, but just love their work. So again, thank you, Lance, for being a guest today. I hope people try the product and learn more about quantum infusion. So check out Lance's website too, newphoenixrising.com. And yeah, it was great having you on.
Great to be here, and thank you for your great work, Carol. Really, really appreciate what you're doing, and what your commitment to this is obviously deep. I know you're not getting rich from doing this. Not that you're against that or anything, but it's great to see
My
somebody.
passion.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing it from your passion and your genuine desire to help people, have better lives and wake up from the sleep, the dream that we've been,
That
or
we're powerless,
nightmare.
because that is not true.
Yeah. Thank you
Okay,
for all
thank
of that.
you. You're welcome. Thanks again.
Okay.
So have a great rest of your day.